All right, I think we've got everybody. So I'm going to call the meeting to order and start off with a roll call. So Andy.
I'm here.
All right. Roger.
I am here. I don't know where my
All right.
picture is.
Yeah. TJ.
Here.
Andrea.
Here.
Eli.
Here.
And I'm here. So as assistant chair, I'm going to chair the meeting today and try to get through it. Hopefully everybody's seen the agenda that Steve sent out. It's a pretty long one. So I'm just going to try to move through it as quickly as possible. The first item is approving the prior meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve those? Will you take a look at those?
So moved.
Second.
All right. In a second.
I'm sorry, who was that? Was that Andy and TJ?
And
Yeah.
TJ, yeah. So if there's no discussion, I'll go ahead and do the vote. Andy,
Yep.
Roger,
Yes.
TJ,
Yes.
Andrea,
Yes.
Eli,
Yes.
and Deanna, yes. All right. Item 3 is, as I think everybody's aware of now, Kevin has resigned as chair and as from the Waterways. So certainly very thankful for all of Kevin's work. He was on the committee for about 7 years. So it's pretty big commitment to Waterways and to this group, and certainly was involved in a number of projects along the way. And I'm certainly grateful for all of the time he's put in. So wanted to kind of talk about if we're going to continue along with kind of the current structure and what we've discussed in the past. We had sort of started down a path of 1 year responsibilities as chair, and then the assistant chair steps in as chair and kind of move through the group to try to get new ideas and new responsibility or new viewpoints. So
I think Jana, you will automatically become chair, and the question will be: are you finishing out Kevin's term, then having a term of your own, or does it start anew for you for the 1 year?
Okay.
And I have no problem if you want to finish Kevin's term out and then serve your whole full term. I mean, it's kind of, we dealt with this when Jerry Hickey resigned also.
Right.
That's when we came up with the 1 year. But he did it at the end of his term, basically. He just said he wasn't going to re-up.
Okay.
And I'm fine if I think Kevin, when did we change over? I forget now. It's usually February, March, I think.
Yeah, we tried to do it at the beginning of the
Back
year.
at the beginning of the year, yeah.
And I would have I mean, subject to whether you want to do it or not. You know, you can finish out his term and then have a full term to yourself if you like.
I mean, I'm fine with that. But I mean, I think makes some sense to changing things at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I support what TJ said.
Do you want it in the form of a motion? I'm sorry that I'm pushing it through it. You may lose me. That's why.
Yeah, no problem.
I don't know if you have quorum at that point.
Yeah, go ahead.
I make a motion that that Dana finish the current term as chairman.
And then just to clarify, and then continue on for the next year.
Yeah, and then continue on.
Yeah, that's.
I would second that, Andrea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any discussion there? Happy to do it.
That is our intent, is to have this continuity going forward. So it'd be great if you could finish out Kevin and then continue all next year. And that would give us nice continuity for a chunk of time. And then the only thing is to pick a vice chair to help you.
To go on there, Roger. I mean, I realize it's my obligation at some point to serve as chair, and I would have no problem as the ranking member, I guess, after you. to take it after. If Dana does a year and a half, I will hopefully have way more time by then.
Right. So are you volunteering to be vice chair, TJ?
I get it. That doesn't matter to me. I'm happy to be vice chair first.
Okay, that's it. You're done. So TJ is vice chair. Quick
Let's take
before he
this one-
disappears.
Do we want to do this one at a time? Because I think TJ
Yeah.
was making the first motion.
Yeah, I
don't know
think
if
we
he
need to do it one at a
could
time.
nominate
There we
himself.
go.
Any other discussion on vice chair? I would fill out the rest of Kevin's term and then do a year term.
No discussion.
All right.
None here.
I'm gonna go ahead and vote there. Andy,
Yep. Yep.
Roger,
Yes, I'm in favor of that.
TJ,
Yes.
Eli,
Yes.
and yes. All right.
You can vote. It's okay.
No,
Okay.
Daniel, listen, I really appreciate you doing effort. It's more of a
Yeah.
commitment than everybody else has been asked to make, and I really do
Yeah.
appreciate that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm sure this fall will fly by.
Oh, yeah. So
And
I
the
make a
Marines at
motion, a
least-
separate motion that we get TJ to be vice chair for at least Dana's term.
All right. Do I have a second there?
Second that.
Yeah, quickly,
Andy?
Andy.
All right. Any discussion?
Thank you,
This'll-
TJ.
Yep.
This
thank
will-
you.
Well,
This will work
coming
out
up
well. This will work out well.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and start the vote then. Andy,
Yep.
Roger,
I'm in favor of that, yes.
TJ,
yes.
Andrea.
I'm totally in favor of someone else being vice chair.
Andrea, don't be running and
Eli.
hiding.
Yes.
And I vote yes. All right.
Excellent. Good job. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you, guys.
That should be so legal.
And actually, I should have said earlier, I think Andrea's taking the minutes today.
Thank you, Andrea.
Yes, and I imagine that during her full term, unless somebody else is going to step up to be my co-minute taker, I'll probably be doing this for the next year and a half.
Thank you, Andrea.
You know, Andrea, only don't feel like you're obligated to. If you don't want to do it or you're too busy or something's going on, just say to somebody else, it's your turn. You know, it's no problem doing that.
Okay, very good.
You know, absent that, we'll consider you volunteered.
All right, then the next is filling of our vacancies. So we have a seventh person that we would be looking for. I don't know if anybody's got ideas there. Talked a
I
little
got a phone call today from Kevin Murphy, who
Uh-huh.
watched the select board meeting last night. I didn't
bit.
because, well, I don't know why, but I didn't. They thanked him for his service and then they kind of kicked the ball on replacing him because they had some idea that they were going to combine Harbor Management Commission with Waterways Commission. But I don't think there were any definitive plans or anything more than they just kind of kicked the can down the road a little bit, discussed that option, and I didn't know that was still on the front burner, but that's just what Kevin called to tell me about. So,
Okay, well,
Okay.
as we all know, our committee serves at the election of the town. So I guess it's a wait and see. We don't appoint anybody just for everyone's
No.
edification. We just
No, but-
we make recommendations. That's it.
Well,
but the Waterways Commission is a charter body. It's embodied in the charter of the town. So I guess they can do what they want, but they cannot just disregard the Waterways Commission. Anyway.
I didn't listen to the meeting, but Roger and I are both members of the Padenham Harbor Plan Implementation Committee. And I think Waterways is a really good body to move forward the recommendations of that plan. It seems like it's the home it always should have had. And if you guys don't mind having this as like either a subcommittee or just, something that we discuss on a regular basis, I think the combination makes perfect sense.
Agreed.
The only other members of the Harbor Plan implementation was our very fabulous Patty Swerdick was just a wonderful chair. She was representing Waterways. We had a at-large member who was also a FinCon member, which was really interesting because it gave us like the, how are we gonna fund this stuff perspective. We had, did we have Tim Barber and town planner as full members, I think, and certainly Steve, couldn't do it without Steve. So, and we had a select board member in the form of David Tattlebaum. So other than that, the select board might have to figure out how to bring in interdepartment representatives, but we could also kind of do that we could do that on the side by going to their meetings and sort of getting their perspective before we deliberate on issues. So what I'm saying is it might mean more work for Waterways, but Roger, you and I were doing it anyways.
I know, I'm not worried. Let's keep going. I think if I had to rely on the select board to do anything, I would be falling flat all the time.
Yeah. So who do we want to recommend for a vacancy? Does anybody know anybody?
So just to before we close out on that, I can reach out to the select board and, say that we heard that mentioned and, ask for kind of a point of contact or kind of a next steps there. But in the meantime, yeah, I think we should go ahead and try to fill the vacancy.
We should fill it.
Yep.
Yeah,
We should
I think
recommend.
I agree with you there, and I also don't think I don't think we should completely merge the two boards. One is a more long range political, and one is more of a more nuts and bolts, of the daily operations of the harbor.
Right.
I think that to Andrew's point, having cross committees and having members communicating with each other, I think works wonderfully.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So I think Eli, you had a proposed member?
Yeah, so there was somebody I quickly thought of and reached out to just gauge interest, and that was Jamie Simmons, who's a peer of mine. He's expressed interest in joining and being a part of what goes on the waterfront in Dartmouth, and is already a pretty active.
31 is empty.
He's already very active on the waterfront here, and I think is invested in the success of the Dartmouth waterfront as well. And so I reached out to him just to gauge interest, and he is willing to put his name in the hat if we're looking for some more younger members. Like I said, he's my age. He's 35. He's been involved with the waterfront in a variety of different capacities for as long as I have, and in some ways a lot longer. And right now he is a professional fisherman and works in town, and has a young family, but has the time to commit to helping us out as well.
Right.
That's awesome.
To Eli's point, I would really want this board and any of the other boards to just be more of the people toward the end of their careers. I'd like to see people that are young and involved in the community they live in, and I think that that's a great way of giving good continuity from the older generation to the younger generation, to have them all serve together.
Excellent. Yeah.
It's also
Have
key.
a name in.
It's key to have a professional fisherman also, because
Agreed.
he's on the water on a regular basis, and his livelihood depends on us doing well.
That's a great point, Andrea.
Yep, I agree with that.
So how about if we invite him to our next meeting to kind of introduce himself? And if anybody else in the meantime has any other thoughts or ideas or hears about anybody that might be interested, we could ask them to join us then as well, and then have a vote after that.
Could we ask him for just a resume, brief? I mean, it could be an
Sure.
email kind
Yeah,
of thing.
maybe I
Yep,
could
of
draft
course.
up a couple questions. I think I probably have the questions that you guys asked me. So,
I was gonna say
So-
that technique, that worked out really well how we did that. And I apologize. Yeah, I'm only hearing every third word, but that worked out really well how we did the last couple. I think.
Yeah.
Well, obviously we got good quality people
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
interested and engaged.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. Eli, can you send me his contact information?
Yes, of course. I'll email that over.
Great.
Thank you.
Cool. All
Great.
right.
Yeah.
Super.
Any other items related to the structuring of the commission?
Dana, can I ask you and Steve, is there anything else that will require a vote? That just in case I get dropped, because I'm starting to fade in and out of it.
Steve, what do you think?
No, I don't see anything. I want to discuss the recognized mooring service provider qualifications, but we're not here to vote on whether they, because they're not invited to the meeting. So it's more of a background on that, and then a summary of our projects, discussion about the excise tax issues and
Status.
updates. So no, there's nothing else I see that requires a vote.
Okay,
Thanks, TJ.
thank you. I'll stay on as long as I can, but I got dropped already twice.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, Steve, you want to talk to us about Little Bay Marine LLC?
I sent everyone an email that I received. They're asking for, they wanted inspections in the town of Dartmouth, and our regulations require that a mooring company receive recognition to become a recognized mooring service provider. And it doesn't go on beyond that to describe what a recognized mooring service provider is. We had an experience with this when Pioneer was transferred and bought under the same name by different owners twice. I think we started down this road with Fortress Moorings when Dave Cressman was town manager, and his only reply was focused on liability insurance. And Fortress never really followed through with much of that in that they did their inspections through other companies. So they would dive for Triad or they would dive for Davis and Tripp, and the inspection would come in through the parent company, if you will. Now, Little Bay Marine LLC purchased the assets and customers of Fortress Marine, and they want to be able to do inspections under their own name in Dartmouth. Currently, they're diving for Triad, and I think that's the only one doing inspection. So what happens is they submit their report to Triad. Triad completes our inspection report and sends it to us under their name and their liability. And Little Bay would like to have their own name out there so they can do their own inspections, installations, and service. So this brings up something that we started on years ago. What do we require? How much insurance? What kind of insurance? And what other, I don't want to say hurdles, but what other hoops do we think people should be able to jump through to have our label of a recognized mooring service provider, qualified mooring vendor in some areas? And I'm doing some research as time permits. Marion, Wareham, Greenwich, Rhode Island. I'm basically looking for qualifications, and I think we should at some point add a resolution that codifies those regulations and then pass that out. What we're trying to stop, and which we have not had a problem with so far, is every person saying, I got a dive certificate, I'm going to do my own inspection. My standard answer to that has been, when you can do your own car inspection, come see me, and they usually go away. It's as important as the safety inspection on an automobile. You're not just certifying your mooring, you're certifying it's not going to influence any of the boats around you by breaking free or stretching or whatnot. We need someone that understands our regulations. We need somebody that is reputable. We've been down the road before with problems there. None of the current ownership or providers, but there's a lot riding on an unseen investment under the surface of the harbor. And I don't want to go down that road again, so I want to make sure going forward, people understand do to qualify provider tag from the town of Dartmouth. So I see that future meeting will by those regulations that will invite a rep from Little Bay LLC and publish it for the whole world to see, so that we're not doing it on a case by case individual basis. But again, it was an inquiry. And certainly when things slow down a bit more, I can cut and paste, plagiarize, take from other towns the best, run it by our town management to make sure that they're on board with it, and then we can vote on it at a future meeting.
Okay. And in the meantime, did you just let them know that we're working on specifics?
Yes, that's what I
Get
will
back to them, yeah.
plan to write back to them and tell them that this is the process that we're doing and that they'll hear from us and be invited to a future meeting after we promulgate the regulations, standardize the regulations. And yeah, I don't think this is a, we want to do it tomorrow type of thing. They've just sent the email recently. So I don't think we're kicking this can down the road. I think we're just getting our ducks in order, in line. And
Does it
yeah,
have
we
to
want to
be a
make,
full reg or could it be just a policy?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Let's call it a policy.
The harbor master has the authority under state law to issue regulations and policies, so I don't see it being a problem either way.
The only difference is that I know of is time
public
and level of public input. If you
Right.
do a policy, you discuss it you post it on the agenda. You might if you and you discuss it, but if you do a reg, you might have to do you might have to post it, get a 30-day comment period, and then go. So it depends on the level of input you want. I personally think that you've got a very good handle on what we need for qualified and reputable. And
Yep.
insurance is going to be determined by the town. It's going to be non-negotiable.
Right, and I think you're right. I hadn't looked at it in that distinction, but policy works for me, and I think it'll work for all, especially if we can put it in writing
Yeah,
and
getting it in writing is the most important thing.
and apply it universally.
Great.
Out of curiosity, is the standard for insurance and bonds just by what other people are already paying, like Pioneer and?
Well, yeah,
Davis Trust?
there was an amount stated of insurance for workers' comp and liability, and I want to guess it might have been $1 million, but that's just a guess. And that would be set by the town. Again, the town has policies on that, or if there's specifics in any of the bylaws, but that is for someone at a higher pay grade, whether it's town manager or town council, to make sure that we're following town precedent. I'll call it that, whether it's a policy or regulation, and make sure that we're not contradicting some other, established amount.
I think that it's going to be, the reason I said it'll probably be non-negotiable is in my experience, if the people you mentioned, town council, town administrator, is going to be checking in with the town's insurance company and what the town, what they're
Sure.
comfortable with.
Yep.
And so it becomes non-negotiable.
Yep, absolutely.
Great.
So that's here.
So I'm going to suggest we move on then. Thank you, Steve.
Sure, no
Uh,
problem.
to Talk about the ongoing and planned projects, and their status. So the marina completion?
It's operational. We had a great dedication ceremony. It seems to be working. I'm getting constant suggestions for improvement, from signage to physical barriers, which are problematic. So we did take public funds, and it's a passive recreation walkway. So it's not going to be fenced off from the general public, but signage is certainly in the offing. We have preliminary plans to expand, and by expand, that's to install the finger piers that are already sitting in the parking lot and the two piles that are in the parking lot, and that needs to be done during the window. So it's looking like maybe October this fall. Those will be set in place. And the piles driven by another company that's doing work there for economy. Um, it's a lot easier than having AGM reposition their barge here, because that would be more expensive than the work being done. It'd be more time consuming than the work to drive two piles. But that's the plan going forward. We unfortunately have to install them, drill the piles, and then remove them for the winter. But that's the way it has to be done, I'm told. And Patrick from Forth is still guiding me on that.
Right. How about dinghy and kayak storage?
Not sure what happened. Huh, my video has been disabled. Okay. We have acquired another rack from the yacht club, and that is installed, and that is full. So the demand continues. We have funds, and I was working with Kevin on getting our funds that are earmarked from our retained earnings applied to replacing the racks. Whether it's done one or two a year or it's done wholesale, I don't know. But we do have retained earnings in a warrant article that we can use. And I believe I've received word from Community Preservation that they will apply their to our own funds instead of to the Seaport grant that we missed out on. So that's a winter project to replace the existing dinghy racks with either dinghy racks or kayak racks, because I'm seeing an incredible demand for paddleboard and dinghy kayaks over dinghies.
Thank you.
The dredging?
We completed the first phase. The next step in that is permitting, and that's a very expensive and extensive process. We don't have plans to move forward with that yet, but I think in the next round of grant application, that's what we should be looking at. And I don't know that it's SEC funding or if it's another dredge specific grant opportunity from the state, but that needs to be looked at.
Is there a dredge available for different communities to use in this area the way Barnstable has one?
No, not for Bristol County, not for our region. The Cape and the
Okay.
islands combined on the operation and use of that dredge, that's basically the Cape and Islands dredge.
Okay.
We're not part of that cooperative.
And the seawall and parking lot?
That's an ongoing saga. We have whatever the Public Access Board is now called, Office of Fishing, Boating. It's on their radar, but the funding just never comes through to save the parking lot, which is by degree falling back into the harbor. So that is apparently tied in with the overall project that the peninsula is going through. And that peninsula is to have, a planning of the entire peninsula. So that'd be our seawall and the park department seawall.
I know that's the one that TJ had sent, or excuse me, Kevin had sent a note off. I don't think he ever heard anything back, so.
Not on that one, and the two walls kind of go together. Kevin recently opened up a dialogue, and the town is aware of it, that the ramp retaining wall, which is a metal corrugated wall just north of the two launch ramps, is in jeopardy of failing. I am no engineer, but I can see blisters and I can see rust, and it doesn't look good. So that dialogue was open. I don't think we ever got a response on that.
Yeah, no, I don't think we did. How about the Rogers Street ramp and facility?
That was part of a project the former town administrator had proposed. I believe that we took some of that funding and I don't want to say it's a dead project, but I have heard nothing about, any progress on that. So, Andy, do you know anything more about that whole area?
No, so we took we took the matching funds and
We
applied
took
them to the
some
marina.
of the matching funds that were to come from ARPA and applied it to finish the marina. Um,
I haven't heard anything else.
Okay.
I met
Did-
with Chris earlier in the spring and then I haven't heard anything since.
okay.
Did they, I thought, I was looking back in some of our minutes, I thought somewhere it said that they'd actually submitted a report, but that we hadn't seen it. Does that sound familiar?
I don't know that it was for that project.
Okay.
Because none of the funds had been expended and the Seaport Economic Council money was still hanging in limbo.
Okay,
And the ARPA funds were in jeopardy of being lost for not being used, clawed back by the federal government, so we able to switch that over to the Hathaway Marina.
okay.
Yeah.
And the Pontiac Peninsula study?
That's a planning operation and just like the Rogers Street, I've heard nothing about that. I think the funding is still intact for that, but it would be partially SEC funding. I'm not sure where the matching funds were coming from. But again, nothing has been done about that. That would include the seawall for both. They would also include the resilience to storm, water rising.
And the database replacement.
We're struggling along. It has improved and we're making improvements every week. We still have not paid the company because we still don't have 100% of what they promised, but when the season ends, we'll be at a point where we're gonna evaluate whether we continue to refine or try to start over again. And we seem to be leaning toward continued refinement. It is making it easier to track unpaid invoices and it's just not working for the assignment of moorings. Between the two databases, still trying to get that done. And as far as accountability and tie-in with town hall, I think that they're able to do a lot more with it now than they could in the beginning. But I'm not sure they're satisfied all the way either.
I'm sorry, for
Steph-
the meeting minutes, you said that that the D-base works well for mooring, it doesn't work
It
for
does-
mooring
it-
assignments, but it
Correct.
does have better communication with town hall, but they are not yet,
Yes,
but not all the kinks have been worked out.
correct. That's accurate.
Okay,
And then staffing.
We have improved greatly. I've got new staff on the water and in the office. Today, Shelley Hebert started her first day, and as far as I know, she hasn't been scared off yet. But we're able to do a lot of the functions that I've had to cover, that Laurie's had to cover. It's difficult doing it on a part-time basis. So we're making strides in that direction. The town did post the full-time position that was Lisa Litos 10, 12 years ago. They've internally posted it. It's a union position, so that takes it pretty much out of my hands. But there's a process and I've heard nothing beyond the fact that they posted it internally. So we'll see how that works out. But in the meantime, we're doing much better. And our presence on the water has increased. Our ability to answer the phone is back. So heading in the right direction.
Good, glad to hear it. How about item 6, the excise taxes?
Well, very recently, I think in the last week, another round of demands have gone out for one or both of the years. I'm not sure which. So that it's kind of like whack-a-mole. People get it. They call, they're hot. They call town hall. Town hall hears the word boat They don't hear anything but the word boat, and they say, oh, you gotta talk to the harbor master. So they hunt us down, they show up, they call, and the legal reality, the actual reality is we can't abate excise tax. We can't recall a demand. We've done everything that we can on our end to find out why they're getting a bill if they claim they don't have the boat, and the reasons vary. And when we can help them correct their problem, we give them the tools they need, whether they follow through or not. And apparently several have not, so now they're getting another demand. It doesn't go away until they do what they need to do. And it doesn't get easier because town hall, again, just sends anything associated with boats to our office. And we have to play that game where they think we're giving them the runaround, but we explain and show why they need to do something other than call us. And anyway, it's a lingering issue, but it's not as bad as it was months ago.
Yeah, sometimes all they do is take the knockins.
That's, I was like, I mean, data cleanup is never easy, and I'm
No.
sorry they're bearing the brunt of it, but
No,
hopefully,
it's just a lot of data issues in 1 year. So
yeah, it's true. The two of those projects together. All right, I'm gonna move on to item 7 on the Town Clean Water Group. Andrea?
I will speak to it, but then I'll turn the floor over to Steve because I've heard from Chris Machad, our health agent. They've got the 2 rounds of sampling have been done in the Slocum River, and they've got a 3rd round that's being scheduled. And I've been told that Steve has been enormously helpful in providing service to get to the offshore sites. So CMAST has been helpful in getting started, and they're going to do the lab analysis. So Steve, kudos to you. Other than that, can you add anything?
well, we're doing site-specific dissolved oxygen surveys. I think we're on number 4 or 5, which I'm told should be the last one. Next Sunday at 6 a.m.
Okay, good.
It's I guess it's very time specific on the ebb and flow of the tide out of the Slocum's River.
Yeah.
And the results are telling, and they are not negative. I had feared that we would be getting bad news because I'm just accustomed to getting bad news lately, but apparently this is a worthwhile project that's going to look, it's going to help move things in the right direction. And I know there was an article in the local paper, Dartmouth Week, explaining how and why we're doing this and how we're trying to stretch our shellfishing heritage, if you will, our ability to shellfish further from the outflow problems that exist. And rather than complain and scowl, we're just trying to do something positive and something that moves that needle in the right direction as well. So, yeah, it's been, again, working on projects like this is fruitful and positive, and I enjoy it. And therefore, it's not work. It's kind of a love of keeping it all going.
Right.
Totally appreciate your efforts. It's
Yeah.
been,
Thanks.
it's made a big difference.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
that was a nice article. Thank you for sending that one around, Andrea.
Down, and I put it as today's date, which is.
And just for the record, special kudos to Chris Machad and Steve for bringing DMF's attention, the State Division of Marine Fisheries attention to a possible new source. They didn't find it on their own, and they probably wouldn't have. They probably never would have. But it's proving promising, and they're interested in opening up a new shellfish bed. So, free focus and free work will get that opened up much faster with DMF's support. So good job to Chris and Steve.
Just so everyone's aware, the resources are rich in that river. It's been closed for so long, and the quahogs don't know the water's polluted, so they're populating like they're on spring break. So I've been told.
Okay.
Okay, too much information, Steve.
Well, that's what I've been told. I don't know.
Oh,
You did spring break once.
Not in this lifetime.
All right, any other news or happenings on the waterways to update us on, Steve?
No, that's really it. We've had some very successful regattas. The
These are.
Marshall Cat Regatta was good. The Paid Narram Festival on the shore side was great. Maritime Center is getting used and appreciated by more people than just boaters. And all seems to be going pretty well. So,
Right. All right, number 9, public comments. I know we had one item there about putting a boat on the town dock.
yeah, I don't see the proposer here, but this came up last year, I believe, and there's a request to use the new marina for a chase boat. I believe it's just a chase boat, for the I'm gonna get this wrong, but I think it's a UMass sailing team. Might be Sting, I don't know, but,
UMass, you're correct.
UMass, okay.
So.
Yeah, I only caution that this is gonna overlap the construction and the barge and the crane that's coming in to make sure we get piles driven properly for the expansion of the marina. And I know that's gonna be an issue all the way around, but it came in last night as a request. It wasn't obviously in time to put it on the agenda, so we can't take a vote. It brings up probably some of the same issues that were discussed last time of liability and anyway.
Yeah, I mean, a little context is last spring, UMass Dartmouth sailing team moved to sailing out of Ponegantset. For the spring, they had a small support boat that they dragged up and down the beach.
I know that
They-
this
they
year
have a
they
Haas
moved the
sailor, I
ground.
believe, that was just donated.
Steve has talked about getting
Requesting if they
additional.
If there's a place to tie it up.
Next year,
Um,
so maybe we can.
So,
people
Basically,
ask
just a
next
support
year,
boat to support the sailing program.
Taking some of the dinghy racks away.
Yeah. So I did look back at the minutes, the last time around, we, they had requested the use of the floating dock, and we talked about the fact that it was a club sport versus a varsity sport, so we're worried about liability, I think, related to that, and parking, and you know, what were their plans for storm safety and that type of thing.
Yeah, in the spring, they requested putting a floating dock to put the
I have
the FJs on
right
top
now
of
is
but
space.
what they did do was
And Edward.
just used dollies and launched them off the beach. So
So
this request that he submitted is just for a place to tie up a support boat to
Right.
the program.
it's closest to the
Little
road.
simpler ask, yeah. I'm sorry, we're getting some feedback from somebody, I'm not sure.
Steve, turn off your microphone.
You got,
There we go.
Yeah.
I still have the question of, you know, are they a legitimate group out of the university? I haven't seen any paper. Are they got insurance? And, you know, are they going to pay for this? It's proved to be a very good marina asset for the town. If they want to pay, I have no problem, but they've got to show me some insurance papers.
Yeah, and well, it sounds like because we can't take a vote on it in this meeting, you know, we've got,
Yeah.
we can go back to him with
Yeah, those questions.
required questions to go on to our meeting agenda for next month.
Yeah, there you go. Good idea, Andy.
That's what it sounds like.
So what are our specific questions to him? What's their insurance?
Do they have insurance
Yeah.
based on their team sport, and are they going to pay for this spot? I mean, simple as that.
Yeah,
And as Steve said, we are in the middle of, we do want to expand, we do want to do this work because we have it's a window we're granted and we have to take advantage of that. There may be some days of disruption and they should be aware of that.
yeah. And I work around that.
And if we're thinking ahead, they're a fall and spring sport, so I'm assuming
Yeah,
it's also for the spring, so obviously dates around when the marina will fill up with other boats, or they're paying for slip, I don't know. I mean, those are.
yeah. Yeah, I do ask him. Are you going to ask him, Andy? Is that you seem to have a rapport with Peter?
I mean, I'm happy to if we want. Yeah,
But-
that's fine. I can circle back with him.
Yeah, I would appreciate it. You seem to have a rapport and just say, look, we're trying to understand here, and we just have to have the same rules for everybody. They've got to have insurance, and they've got to have, if they want a spot, I'd love to have them have a spot there. But you know, he's got to pay. We got to make money somehow.
Yeah, but you know, and it's also an interesting one, right? Because a lot of the time they're going to want to use it as off season. So do our slip holders pay for? It's actually only open probably
Yeah,
to the spring, summer, and the early fall, right? Where they're going to want it kind of off season. So that's kind of an interesting way to look at it. Where I don't know, are we close? Are there a certain date that people need to have their boats off the marina by, or can they keep them there year round?
Well, what we've set up initially, Andy, was the thought that the marina would be the same schedule as our bridge opening. So it's when that's open, when the bridge season starts, the marina would start. When the bridge ends, October 31st, boats would end, and we would ask them to get the dinghies off the dock. I don't think we want to get into having dinghies there year round.
I think that makes sense. It's just how their season runs, what their request. If their request is when we're kicking everyone else off the dock, you know, that's just stuff we need to take into consideration.
Right.
We have to consider that we are removing floats and storing them safely in the parking lot for the winter time. We're pulling in the gangways to keep people from going out onto the dinghy float where they could fall into the harbor. And we are asking people to vacate the dinghy and kayak racks so that accumulated snow doesn't do further damage. But all that occurs in early November. It's either the 1st or the 15th. I'm not sure which. So that, I mean, the dock itself will be there, the pier, the floats alongside are not gonna be there. The end float will not be accessible. This is my vision after we pay for decommissioning. So,
Okay, I mean, that's all stuff I can bring up with him.
great. Anything else in the public comment section? If not, I actually did not look up the date for our next meeting. But I can.
Sometime in September.
Yeah, let's see. Looks like we're scheduled right now for the 9th
We're not, yeah.
at noon.
That's good with me. 9th at Zoom at noon. That would be fantastic.
Okay. All right.
Yep, fine here.
Anybody have anything else?
All set.
Congratulations, Dana.
Woohoo! I made it.
You're at the top
All
now.
right. Everybody in
And
favor of adjournment?
welcome to the hot seat. Yep, that sounds like a,
Thank you.
All right.
See you all
thank you
later.
all.